Hey, oh, no, I'm good. I was like, did I mute myself? I have to make sure because when the credits roll, I guess here's behind the curtains here. People, you need to understand that when you see the PlayStation Drive thing, if Matt and I talk, you can hear us.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Court, very quickly, I'm going to stop us just real quick and make sure, are we both recording?
Buddy, you don't even have to do that anymore. I'm good. I have Ronald Turford talking to me in the background,
I
telling me audacity.
Dude, I'm not calling him Ronald until he has the monocle, and then it has to be hashtag Ronicle. It has to
Oh my goodness. Well, I said to Sean, and the community can agree or disagree, but we need a Ronald Turford t-shirt.
See, the problem with Ronald is my mind immediately goes to,
Ronald McDonald.
yeah. And that's an image that I don't know if I like it.
Speaking of which, my daughter is on her way currently right now to McDonald's to get her Pokemon cards.
Dude, I'm gonna go later today and order a Happy Meal just for the sake of getting those Pokemon cards. I'm amped.
Yeah.
I saw the box on the ground all stomped, made me sad a little bit, but at the same time, gets me excited.
She's on the way.
All right, my dude, let's keep it going. Before we get into anything more, let's clean the garage. If you're watching us live on youtube.com/carpoolgaming right now, make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that bell, make sure you're already subscribed so that you know when things go live over here on youtube.com/carpoolgaming, you're aware and you can come and hang out with us as we do fun stuff all the time. If you are listening to us on your podcast service of choice, then please make sure you hit us with the subscribe or the follow and the 5 stars. Court just gave away a wonderful copy of Horizon Forbidden West. We had a contest going. Whoever gave us that 5 stars was entered to win. Somebody walked away with it. Good times, free games.
Hey, Nagachaka, community member.
Nagachaka won it and then very graciously passed it along. Exactly. Very, very graciously. So shout out to Nagachaka and to Delroy for being wonderful community members. We appreciate you guys very, very much. And if you have a couple extra bucks to toss our way, please head over to patreon.com/carpoolgaming and tip yo drivers, where if you toss in money, a whole cornucopia of content comes spilling out to keep you busy for quite a while. And before we go on anymore, I also just want to give a quick shout out to the Creature Cast. Friend of the show, Steve Vigvari, the Tech with the Specs, along with a fantastic crew of individuals from Console Creatures, are have a new podcast going. Make sure you go and support. It's wonderful. I was just listening to it right before we got on the show. Just wanted to shout them out because, again,
I listened to it this morning too.
There you go.
And Steve had to talk about PC gaming, and he doesn't even like PC gaming.
I know.
And you think he's a nerd. You think Steve's that big nerd that he cares about PC, but he's like, nah, I don't like PC.
I know, right? Well, I don't like PC. So make sure you go support the friends, the homies, because they are making awesome content, and I'm excited to one day do I'm just going to call it. We're going to do it. We're going to do a crossover with them just because I want to, and we're going to make it happen. But let's keep this car rolling because we need to we need to send out the carrier pigeon to the local record store. They're not around much anymore. You have to carrier pigeon. You send the carrier pigeon out, they grab a cassette, okay? They grab the cassette, they take the cassette to Purelator. Purelator exchanges it for a vinyl. They bring the vinyl over. We take that vinyl, switch it over to a CD, and pop that in so that we can talk about the playlist. Wow. Court, what you been playing?
Well, I can say with a smile on my face that I have been playing The Last of Us Part 1 remake. That's all I can say.
That's all you can say.
I'm playing it though.
There you go.
I also downloaded Yakuza.
Yes.
0. Interesting enough, I downloaded it right before I went to the Jays game yesterday, and I was driving downtown, and before I left, I'm like, I'm downloading this so I could play it and tell Matt how it is. And then I got a text from you and a text from Sean, and then I checked my email, and I'm like, I guess I'm not playing it. So I got home late last night. I played about 4 hours. And then today on my lunch, I played again. So that's what I played. Haven't even played MLB The Show. And that is like a thing for me.
I know.
Mind you, right before we started the show, I even said to Matt, I turned on my console just so I could check in to get my dailies on it.
Yep.
And then I turned it off.
Which is fair. Again, I think it's just a testament to how much we love Last of Us as a series. And I mean, I know we have our differences in opinions when 1 versus 2, but like the series is fantastic. So I forgive you for it being The Last of Us that took you away from Yakuza. I appreciate that you downloaded it, and I know you're going to get around to it once Last of Us is done and over with. So yeah, cool. I'm excited to hear your thoughts. I'm excited to have a discussion about The Last of Us when the time comes. As for myself, I have been continuously obsessed with Cult of the Lamb. I cannot stop playing it. I haven't had too much time in the last week, but any extra time that I have had has gone towards Cult of the Lamb. I'm in the second world. It's behind the second door, and the game is just so much fun. It's so ridiculous. Building up your cult is a great time. I know Sean is also a massive fan. I keep hearing him talk about it. The game is just so good. I messaged all of my childhood friends, the guys that I've been friends with for years and years, and I'm like, you are all joining my cult. And then I messaged a few other friends just saying, do you want to join my cult? I got far too many yeses, far too quickly.
So for what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you're streaming, I can join your cult, but unless I own the game, I can't join your cult.
I think so.
I don't really know. Like if you're streaming,
the Twitch integration, yeah.
Yes, my buddy Pez was streaming it, and he was explaining. I was watching him on my phone. He was like, "Oh, you have to go on your PC and do this." I'm like, "Ooh, that sounds like a lot of work." So then when we did Three Dads this week, he showed me how to do it. I'm like, okay, now I get it. There's like a little button, you just click it, and then you're able to be in the thing. So I'm happy people are enjoying this game. Some people are saying it's game of the year. I'm probably never gonna try it unless it hits Game Pass.
And that's fine. Totally
or
fair.
PlayStation Plus. Whatever one it hits, I'll play it.
Totally fair. No, I've been really enjoying it. I've been having a blast with it. I'm excited to keep going with it. And also, I will be talking about Shin-Chan, the new Shin-Chan game, and Rollerdrome next week, so get excited for that. Shout out Rollerdrome.
It feels like it needs that.
I know. So shout out to both of those PR teams for sending over codes. I will have updates for you on those next week. I just haven't had a chance to hop into them yet because life has been busy. Now,
seriously, I'm going away next week. Dude, I gotta figure it out.
I'm going out this weekend, and yeah, and by the way, yeah, so Court won't be on the show next week, but we do have. I'm gonna keep it a surprise for now. We do have a pretty cool co-host locked in and loaded for next week's show, so get stoked on that. Make sure you tune in live next Friday to check that out. But my dude, we have a lot to talk about this week.
Seriously, the show was purchased by the Embracer Group. Did everybody know?
You know what? I have to say it. I know part of Carpool was bought by Embracer. The other part was actually bought by Epic Games. And get ready for the Matt and Court skins in Fortnite. I can't wait to go up against Goku and Superman and everything else.
You're making me Google again, eh?
The mind boggles. The mind boggles. But let's get into some breaking news. And let's start with that very story coming from Nintendo Life, written by Liam Doolin. Embracer Group acquires limited run games, Lord of the Rings IP, and more. Swedish video game company Embracer Group has acquired not one, but multiple companies and IPs for an undisclosed sum. In a series of press releases, Embracer announced the acquisition of Tripwire Interactive, which made things like Killing Floor, Maneater, and Rising Storm, Tuxedo Labs, which made Teardown, Singtrix, which is a vocal processing effects tech, physical distributor limited run games, and this secured the rights to Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit literary works by J.R.R. Tolkien.
And film, no? I thought they got film as well.
I think so. It looks like
they have everything. Like they got the Lord of the Rings IP.
Yeah, they're talking about like Aragorn movies and Gandalf movies. They're gonna get into the weeds here. We're gonna have a Lord of the Rings out the wazoo soon enough.
And it was funny. I didn't see any of the normal, like when PlayStation buys someone or Xbox buys someone, everybody loses their mind and calls for this and that. You know what, people? Just do a little quick Google on Embracer Group. And they own a lot. They own a ton.
They own a lot. I feel like the industry is just going to end up being Tencent versus Embracer at some point in time.
Yeah, like Embracer has, if you play a AA game, 9 times out of 10, Embracer owns them.
Yep. And like, I do appreciate that the CEO came out and said that like they're not focusing on NFT or blockchain technology. They want the classic game experience, which always just makes my heart a little happy when they get into that. But Court, Embracer's out there gobbling up studios. Tencent's doing the same. How do you feel about this latest slate of acquisitions for Embracer?
I have no. See, I'm so pro capitalism. I'm like the worst person to ask about this because I'm always like, it makes sense to me. The ones with the most money, like I get it. Some people are like, no, the little guy. But 9 times out of 10, I'm sorry. I look at what happened with Disney when they bought all these franchises, and they just make me smile every time they put something out. So. And I look at what Xbox has been doing, and I look what PlayStation's done. continuously with an amazing track record. They're like, hey, we buy a studio. Hey, we develop them. Hey, we nurture them. We do all this stuff. Xbox is doing the same thing. Everybody's doing that now, and we're getting great things. We end up getting good content. I have no problem with it. Even when people get mad at all these, it never makes sense to me. Capitalism is, it's you know what? It is what it is. Just get over it. Like, I don't know, man. I'm okay with it. I have no problem with capitalism. None whatsoever.
I don't know. It does make me a little bit nervous. So far, Embracer hasn't given me any reason to doubt them, but it's still just that idea of these monolithic, massive companies just buying out everything underneath them. It does make me nervous in the way that I don't want the gaming industry to develop to just fall apart into here are these 2 or 3 big companies, and that's all that it is. That everything's owned by all of them.
But that's pretty much it. You say that, but we live in Canada.
We do.
And who's the cell phone companies?
I know, and I hate that. I hate.
You hate that because they overcharge us. But
yes, desperately.
The video game and in the movie world, you love movies and television.
Yeah.
No,
I do.
There's what, 5 studios?
I know, and again, I see. I am a Marvel fanboy. I love everything the MCU does. So again, in that respect, I enjoy it. But there's still a voice in the back of my mind being like, I hope this keeps up well.
Remember how bad it was when Fox had it. Oof.
I know, but like I hope the Embracer Group stays true to their words that they're going to let these companies continue to do their thing. And just because there's no way to find out.
Yeah, they haven't done anything bad. Like, think about it. They brought back a lot of games we used to like. They did Kingdoms of Amalur, if I'm correct.
I think so.
Someone can correct me.
Destroy
and I believe
All
I was
Humans.
reading an article someone put in there, like, they're the ones working on the KOTOR thing, and they saw that it wasn't working, so they got a different studio to take over.
Evidently so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, thank you. Like, that right there proves that they saw something that wasn't working, and they were like, no, we need to make this, like, this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make it good. KOTOR is something I was very much looking forward to. So, and they saw it wasn't working, and instead of scrapping it, like, think about it, a lot of big studios, if it was Square Enix, they just scrapped the thing.
Yep.
Or they put it out broken.
Fair. It's a fair point. And again, like, I'm just curious to see how this continues to fall out and how the gaming landscape will change in the next few years, because I do feel like it will change. Are you a big Lord of the Rings guy?
I am.
Okay, so what if you could? Let me ask you this: with Embracer now in control, if you could pick the first Lord of the Rings game that they're making, and it could be anything, any genre. I'm not going to ask you to tag a developer on them because I don't feel like we're well versed enough with Embracer's developers as anything.
I'm not.
So let me ask you this: what Lord of the Ring game do you want to come out next?
Well, there was a one that was on, I think it was the PlayStation 3 that you got. It was almost like a Gauntlet type Lord of the Rings game. I don't know if you remember Gauntlet from way back in the day. I would love that, so you get to use all the different characters, the top down, almost like what's that Marvel's game that
Ultimate
we had
Alliance.
Alliance.
Yep.
Almost like that. And just get me a quick one just to get us the characters, and we can play it multiplayer with everybody, and it'd be fun. Make it free to play so we can all go out there and play it and just have some fun with it while they're making those big story driven, because there's a lot to the lore of Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
There's stuff I can't even pronounce.
Lord of the Rings.
So I'm more of a, I would love them to start with like a Hobbit, like do a different story there, and then continue to go until, like, I want to play the Gollum game that's coming out. It looks more like a almost type of Plague Tale where you're going around and hiding.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would like a Marvel Alliance type Lord of the Rings game with all the characters.
I think that's a really cool idea, especially if they did take some of, like, the Diablo DNA that makes those games so good and put that in Lord of the Rings. I think that could be really cool.
There's lots of loot in Lord of the Rings.
There's lots of loot. Yeah, I would love a throwback to the Lord of the Rings games on the PS2, because some of those were really fun and really, really good. I'm hesitant about Gollum, but I'll keep my reservations in check until that game actually comes out. But I guess
it's not a day one.
Oh, it's not a day one. But I mean, unless it hits something like Game Pass or PlayStation Plus, then maybe I'll try it on day one. But I'm not running out the door to try it out. I saw some people also worried about limited run games. And again, I hope that Embracer lets all these companies continue to do what they're doing well, because limited run is one of the only companies in the space who are doing that. So
I think a lot of people worry about a lot of things a lot of times, and I think we're more prone to dunk on something before anything happens. Like, especially in the gaming verse, it's like a game gets announced, we haven't seen anything, they're like, the game sucks, and I'm just, okay. So let's see what they do with it. They've done a lot of great things with the IPs that they've had. They've brought some games back that I personally love. And if I get a new Kingdom of Amalur that's actually not just a remake, I'm going to be happy.
Fair enough. And again,
Happy.
I understand the point. Let's see what happens. Moving on to our next story, one that I'm actually very excited about. Written by Eric Masoto over at Collider. Ghost of Tsushima director wants to make a Japanese language film with a Japanese cast. Back when the surprise hit Parasite won the Academy Award for Best Film in 2020, internationally acclaimed filmmaker Bong Joon-ho reminded viewers that once you overcome the 1-inch tall barrier of subtitles, you'll be introduced to so many more amazing films. Now, in an exclusive interview with Collider, film director Chad Stahelski, the director of Untitled Chapter 4, is echoing those words and teasing that he wants to prove Bong right by filming the upcoming Ghost of Tsushima movie adaptation entirely in Japanese. Dude, I really, really hope this happens. I played Ghost of Tsushima with the subs on. The main voice actor is a voice actor from Gintama that I really, really love. And I genuinely hope that they do it right and that they make it in a way that feels organic and natural and actually respectful, of Japanese culture and everything going on there. But where are you at on this one?
Very, very excited. It's probably one of my favorite games in the last 10 years.
Likewise.
Right up there. It's beautiful. Everything about it was amazing. And the world that they created, right after I finished it, I was like, this would be the best television show ever. They're gonna do a movie, but I'm almost of the mind where I'm like, I would love a television show a la Game of Thrones, but within the world of Ghost of Tsushima. So that to me would be better. But if they're doing a movie, I'm all for it. Keep the culture. I'll read subtitles. It's made for it.
Yep.
It's so perfect. Like, it's so good. The story itself is so enthralling. It's so good.
I agree with you. I really hope they nail it because, again, we've had a bad string. I would say recently there is a little bit more into the average and good side of things with video game adaptations, and I hope Ghost of Tsushima nails it because, like you said, it's perfect for it. It's the perfect game to translate over, so I hope it's going to be good. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that because I think it's cool. It's nice to hear that he's talking about it, and it's nice to hear that they're working hard at it. The next story coming from IGN, written by Ryan Dinsdale. Astro's Playroom developer is working on its biggest ever game. Astro Playroom and Astrobot Rescue Mission developer Team Asobi is currently working on its biggest ever game. According to GI.biz, Team Asobi's creative and studio director Nicolas Doucette said this developer isn't being limited by time or money in the creation of its new project, which will be its first since PlayStation 5 launch title Astro's Playroom was released in 2020. It will be a full commercial title and quote-unquote our biggest to date. Court, how you feeling about Team Asobi making their biggest game
I hope it's an Astrobot,
ever?
like a full-blown like Astrobot, like Mario 3D World type Astrobot game. One of my favorite games still on the PlayStation 5. My daughter plays the what's the Wind Chill level?
Yep.
She plays that so much. She loves that level over and over and over again. That game is just so much fun, and they made it brought back feelings of being a kid again and playing like Mario's and such. And it was just the little Easter eggs that they threw throughout the game, and it was beautifully designed, and the level, it looks so great. So I truly, truly hope that it's an Astro game. But whatever they make, they're pretty much a studio now. If they make something, I'm like, I'm in. Let me play it.
Seriously, I think you're right. I really do hope that it is a new Astro game, just completely blown out. I think he's such a great mascot for PlayStation. I think he's adorable. He's such a good throwback to those classic, cartoon platformers, mascot platformers. And I hope it is. I want like a full, like you said, Super Mario Odyssey style game, but with Astrobot leading the fray. So let me ask you this then before we move on. What is something that you want out of their next game? Something that they haven't done or haven't included before. I obviously want them to innovate into things, but what's something that you would want them to do that would really
Two players at the same time.
Big same.
You don't have to do it. You can play the whole game. Don't knack it. But if I can have 2 players at the same time, so I can play it with my daughter, oh, so good. Puzzles, like have it so that there's certain puzzles can only be done with 2 players, but we're not gonna like hide trope. Like there's got to be a way to do it. So like to me, that's what I want. I want 2 players in that game.
Like Sackboy. Sackboy has those areas that are only for like 2 or 3 or 4 players.
Yeah.
And I think they nailed that. I agree with you. That's literally what I was going to say. I really want some multiplayer in there, some local multiplayer to be able to run through those levels and through that game together. I think would be really, really cool. And I also hope they take something away from, similarly, Sackboy has those musical themed levels that I think are utterly brilliant. I would love to see them mess with the formula for a platforming level, because I do hope it is level based, similar to Odyssey, similar to Sackboy. I really hope that they do something cool with music, or they take things in a direction that we're not really expecting. And you better believe that they are going to have so much DualSense stuff going on in that game, and I'm all about it. I love that controller.
And they do it in a good way. It's not like with the Joy-Cons over on Nintendo. No offense, Nintendo, but sometimes when they integrate it, it's just like, yikes. What were you thinking? Yeah, it's just like, it doesn't make any sense why you're making me do this. So I'm hoping we get also like game theme levels.
Yes,
so
dude.
Like we have like Horizon level, and we have a God of War level. Like give me
Kingdom Hearts.
I was just gonna say, give me Kingdom Hearts, but in the PlayStation world. Do it now. Give me the crossover.
Dude, you just blew my mind. Oh my god, I want that so bad now. Like, I mean,
it would be huge.
It would be huge.
The PlayStation All-Stars didn't work, but this would work. You have an Infamous level. You do it up. A Resistance level. Do it all. You got to go through, and your job is like, as the Astrobot, is got to go through all the different levels of PlayStation.
That would be amazing if you're almost like fixing like the narrative or something, so that like things happen the right way, and like we see
the multiverse. You're fixing the multiverse.
Exactly, and it's like it'd be almost like what's that Forrest Gump, where like you could just see like him in like backgrounds of like huge, you know, monumental moments, like Last of Us. At the first 20 minutes, you just see like Astrobot's head sticking out in the background. I'm sure that would go over very, very well. But I really want this now, Court. You've just sowed a seed that you cannot unsow, and I'm very excited about this idea. And I will keep you all posted as we find out more about Team Asobi's new game. Let's keep a rolling to our big story. Sony may be working on a PlayStation PC games launcher. This is coming from IGN, written by Ryan Dinsdale. Sony may be developing its own PC game launcher akin to Steam and the Epic Game Stores for use with its range of its PlayStation PC re-releases. As reported by VGC, the files for the PC version of Spider-Man Remastered include references to a quote-unquote PlayStation PC launcher, while game files often mention content that has been scrapped, like a potential multiplayer mode. It shows that there are other independent PC launches being floated. Further references also reference the PSN account linked and PSN linking entitlements, despite Sony not offering any connectivity between PlayStation Network accounts and the PlayStation games so far. They went on to put on a page, Court. They also put a PlayStation PC game page up now, and while it does say that they're not currently able to support things like cross-play or cross-promote or cross-buy, it does say currently support. Court, where do you think this is all going? Are we gonna have another PC game launch, another like platform? Are we gonna have cross-buy? Where are we going with all this?
I truly, truly think for them to compete in the new world moving forward, that they need to day and date the games on PC. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be on PlayStation Plus day and date. I don't think Sony's going to be doing that anytime soon. I think the games do need to be day and date on PC, and I do think they need to take a page from Xbox. And like today, Xbox at QuakeCon just announced only games. They're all PC games, but still got to have a news bite today and be like, here's a bunch of PC games that are coming to our launcher. Because that's what Game Pass is, right? It's just a launcher.
Yep.
So that their PlayStation Plus launcher, if you have it on your console, you get the console games. But if you have it on your PC, there's other games. They have companies. They own companies. Like Destiny on PC plays better. Like, why wouldn't you want that on your PlayStation Plus? Like, why wouldn't you want it there? It's like, it's calling. It's saying do it. So to me, I'm really hoping, as someone that played Spider-Man and thought it is the ultimate version of this game, I really hope that Sony starts day and dating. And I don't think they lose sales. I think they gain sales. Like Cult of the Lamb, still a shocker that it is just destroying across the board. I don't think Sony could have saw that coming. PC players are loving it, and I do think a lot of it has to do with the Twitch integration. It's very smart game. It does very well on Twitch. A lot of people are playing it. It's got a lot of great interaction. But other than that, I think Spider-Man, it did extremely well.
Yep.
Let's be honest. It was their biggest selling PC game at launch ever. Like we said it was going to be. But
was it, or was it number 2? I thought God of War still.
I thought for sales, no, total sales, like dollar amount.
I'll double check this. Go on.
Yeah, no, I believe you can double check. I think God of War had the most units sold, and I think for dollar amount, because the game costs more. Remember the $10?
Mm-hmm.
I think for dollar amount, they got it.
Okay, so I'm pulling from IGN.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Remastered to PlayStation Studio's second biggest PC launch behind God of War. Apparently, it outperforms Horizon Zero Dawn and Days Gone, which isn't surprising. Yeah, it looks like at least this article is only referencing.
I could be 100% wrong. I thought I read on Twitter somewhere it said that like someone put out the dollar amount, not on like God of War crushed it, like for units sold. But I heard possibly dollar. I could be wrong though. I thought I read it, but I read a lot of things on Twitter.
This article is only referencing units sold, so you might be right in terms of dollar sales. I'm not seeing anything about that here.
Oh, it's not me being right. It's who I read on it.
Yeah, no, I know.
Let's
but
be real. Yeah,
let's be real. But sorry, go on.
Yeah, so I truly think that Spider-Man would have beat God of War, but Cult of the Lamb, unsung hero right now.
Seriously?
It is. Everybody loves it.
It's
still the talk of the town. I'm sure Sony's like son of a gun. Like we could have just released Spider-Man a week earlier. Like who knew that this little game about a lammy, would beat out Spider-Man, right?
Little game about cults and lambs, and I think it's over. Like I think I saw a tweet that it's like they've had over like 1 million people in the game already. So like it's off to the races. But
Spider-Man's had many iterations. It's had PS4 and a PS5 version of it. So I do think if they day and date their PC games to purchase in their PC launcher, I think it would be huge.
I think you're right. I still don't know if they're going to make that move anytime soon. I can see them quickening the pace. I can see it maybe being 3 months or 6 months after it comes out on PS5. It's going to hit the PC store. Just because, again, they still seem very, very much like entrenched in their whole new game is new, played only on PlayStation, that I don't know if they would shy away from that verbiage this soon. Does that change?
You never know.
Does that change in 3 or 4 years? Maybe. I do see a future where they are hitting day and date. Like you said, not on PlayStation Plus, but just being available for purchase. And I mean, like, they have Nixes now. They have studios who are able to work on these ports who would theoretically be able to work on them alongside launch.
Death Stranding's going to PC Game Pass.
Dude, I know. Well, rumored.
Like, it hasn't been officially made,
yeah.
but they today they did another image.
Yeah.
And it's definitely Death Stranding. Like they did it the first time, and I saw Tom Warren's tweet right after, and now they did another one, and I'm like, those are crabs flying through the air. That's Death Stranding. Like, we all know it's coming. So I think Xbox's success that they've had with Game Pass being Game Pass PC, like my brother only plays Game Pass on PC. He doesn't own an Xbox, but he has Game Pass.
Yeah.
And he uses it a lot. So PlayStation has this catalog now of PC games. It's like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I think it will take time for it to happen if it does, because we even said, you still can't even use a DualSense properly with the PlayStation Plus on PC. Like, there are so many little things.
But you can on the PC by itself
through Steam, yes, but not on the PlayStation Plus launcher, which is like baffling. So I do think that they need to fix the foundation for them to move in that direction. But I hope you're right. Any reason that players have more accessibility options, more avenues to play, just makes the whole ecosystem even better. So I hope you're right. I genuinely hope so.
Because then you're playing PC games on your Steam Deck, and Matt is happy.
I am happy with my Steam Deck. Yeah, dude. We'll keep everybody appraised of the situation as it evolves. Now, dude, let's get into something about THQ Nordic, because they had their digital showcase a few days ago. This is an article written by Matt Kim over at IGN. And very quick, I want to give the guys from Save the Game Media a shout out. They did a live stream for this, which was very entertaining, because this showcase was an interesting one. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Just a quick few shoutouts. There's a new Alone in the Dark game that's been announced. Recreation is a new arcade racers from the ex-developers of games like Burnout and Need for Speed. Space for Sale is announced. Destroy All Humans 2 Reproved got some gameplay. Gothic was re-announced. Jagged Alliance 3. A new SpongeBob game, which was the highlight of the whole thing for me. And then some other games. There was a lot of real-time strategies. There was a few racing games. This
AEW.
Yeah, this. Oh yeah, that happened. I blocked that out of my memory with that wonderful trailer that we got. I don't know, dude. I thought this was a big swing and a miss. The SpongeBob got me excited. I think it was Recreation, if that's the racing game that I'm thinking about, because again, we saw multiple that looked pretty cool. That you can like build the tracks in like this like massive open world. It looks pretty interesting. But what are your feelings about it? Did you watch it? Anything jump out at you?
I didn't watch it. I did watch a little bit of the Save the Game media. That's how I remember the AEW, because when they put like the garbage can on, everybody was freaking out. SpongeBob, once again, I'm agreeing with you. That's my highlight from it. A lot of these games, I'm just like, I don't know. Should they have just been at someone else's show? But I guess with no E3 and so on and so forth, it is what it is. But did they? Yes, they had a lot of games to announce, but was it enough to like keep people captivated in the show? But I guess for people, fans of those games, they can all go to one spot to get them, and they all come out. Like it, there was no loss there. They didn't rent a studio or anything like that.
Yeah.
They just threw out a YouTube video. So,
well, they did have hosts talking and stuff. So I mean, they may have rented out a studio, but like,
it wasn't. Those games didn't speak to me, but I'm sure they speak to a lot of people out there.
I think for me, my biggest issue with it was that like having a lot of real-time strategy games and like RPGs in that nature right beside each other just makes it hard for any of them to stand out, because they looked very samey in terms of the gameplay. There's only so many ways you can dress those games up in a trailer. And again, I love games like that. I really, really enjoy real-time strategy RPGs. But seeing that many of them that close together for me just feels like a weird way to put together the showcase. I feel like if they just had more variety to it, that would have helped the general feeling of it. And like I said, SpongeBob, the new one looks great. I'm genuinely excited to check it out, and I'm sure we'll talk about it when the time comes. But this, to me, I think was a bit of a whiff of a showcase.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for them, because it dropped, and like I didn't really see anything. If it wasn't for Kevin and all those guys over Save the Game, I wouldn't even have remembered that it was on.
Likewise.
And I get the emails from like terminals and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I just totally didn't. It wasn't on my radar. Like even in our chats, I was like, there's the Disney showcase that's coming up, and I'm like, oh yeah, like, and the Ubisoft Forward, but the THQ Nordic, like Dead Island shadow dropping on Amazon last night was a bigger story than that whole THQ Nordic conference. So
hilarious. You're 100% right. Speaking of one more showcase, our last piece of news, once again coming from IGN, once again from Ryan Dinsdale. First ever Disney and Marvel Games showcase is coming in September.
So
I cannot wait. It's going to happen on September 9th at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. Marvel Games, Lucasfilm Games, and 20th Century Games will present to some degree during the showcase, bringing reveals, announcements, and trailers for new and upcoming games. Court, I'm going to go off for a second because I'm so excited. There's so much.
Yeah, I've never seen you reply so quickly to me posting and saying, who wants to live stream this? You're like, I'm in.
Dude, it's Marvel. What do you mean? I'm there. I'm all about it. We have so many cool things that are floating around in the ether. Nothing like, Jeff Grubb is talking about EA working on Iron Man and Black Panther games.
An Xbox Bounty Hunter game.
And an Xbox Bounty Hunter game. We know that Amy Hennig and her studio, I think it's Skydance, are working on a Marvel property. Rumors were Daredevil, but apparently after that announcement, they said that Amy Hennig's game is going to be an ensemble game, which now has people theorizing, is it going to be Fantastic Four? Is it going to be more like Midnight Suns with like a bunch of characters?
Or wouldn't it be the Young Avengers? Because we're about to get that in the Marvel Universe.
Possibly. I'm also thinking it could be Runaways. Runaways would be really,
you know what?
Cool.
I'm gonna announce, if she's doing an X-Men game, I'm gonna run through a wall.
Oh my god, dude! If she's doing an X-Men game, the internet would literally explode.
Run through the wall.
Run through the wall. Straight up Kool-Aid man it. So let's talk, dude. What are you expecting out of the showcase? We now know that the Amy Hennig X-Men game would make you run through the wall, but what else are you hoping to see out of that showcase?
I'm hoping to see, and I know we will get to see more of Jedi Fallen Order. Mm-hmm. I'm very excited to see more of that game. That's beautifully done. That was Respawn saying, hey, single player games aren't dead. It actually, I think, revive the conversation that single player games are here to stay, because at that time, remember, it was the momentum for big multiplayer games and free to play games was just, it was in a very big upward trajectory. And then Jedi Fallen Order came out and it was like a mic drop of like, hey, everybody's playing this single player game and no one cares to play with their friends right now because this game is just so good. The story, it's so good that Disney is making Cal Kestis canon. He is a character and we know he's coming. I think it's in Mandalorian or something. They've kind of hinted at it because he's like they put the robot was in Boba Fett, but we know it's Mandalorian. But he was in the story, so like we know Cal is coming and he's going to be in some sort of Star Wars. So my guess is we get updates on the games that we already know of, like Midnight Suns and all those. We get updates on, and then we're gonna get 3 we didn't know.
So, do you think those 3 would be these potential Iron Man, Black Panther, and Hennigs games? Do you think those are the 3?
I think the Black Panther one has way more steam because you've had Jeff Grubb, you've had many people talk about it.
Yep.
And then I think we're going to maybe get a roadmap on Avengers because it seems to just drop new stuff. Like they just dropped new stuff for Avengers again, and I think we definitely hear about the Amy Hennig game, and I think we get no update on KOTOR.
No.
Like I don't think we get any update on that game. Unfortunately, it's a oof.
I know.
Oof.
But no.
But I think we get a ton of Jedi Fallen Order and we get whatever game it is because we know there's an exclusive Xbox game. Like it's way too much smoke to not be real. So there's going to be that whatever Marvel I think it's a Star Wars. My guess is it's a Star Wars game.
Well, we do know about Indiana Jones. Right, like so we could finally see what that game is going to look like because that's supposed to be Xbox exclusive, is it not?
Yeah, but I'm still gonna say Xbox is big on Game Awards. I don't think they're that'd be a tough one because yes, Indiana Jones is MGM Studios, but is it Disney? Is it like Disney? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we could see like a teaser trailer with the promise of more, like an actual like gameplay trailer at the Game Awards. Just because like I just really don't know how much they could be working on at one time. Like I'm very curious about what we're gonna get out of Avengers because like you mentioned, we now know that Winter Soldier is the next hero coming and that they're planning on retooling all of the existing heroes. I'm really curious to see if that game is going to continue to live on or not, because there's also rumors about like She-Hulk. There was rumors about a lot of the magic-based characters, rumors about Captain Marvel. I don't know how well that game is doing. I genuinely don't. So like I wonder.
Neither do I, but now that it's on everything.
Yes. There's
like
definitely
it's on PlayStation Plus, it's on Xbox Game Pass. It's like just go play it.
Yep.
It's free. Just go get it.
So that's what I mean. Like I wonder if they're going to be their kind of roadmap for it. I really want, obviously, a look at Spider-Man 2. I think it's time. I think we get a teaser trailer.
That's perfect. I think we get more of that. Not Wolverine, though.
I don't think we see Wolverine at all. I don't think we're going to get anything from it. But I do think we see a bit of a teaser trailer. Again, I would expect like a CGI trailer similar to what we got, and then, you know, possibly actually showing Kraven seeing Venom in you know, out and about with gameplay stuff coming later. Because I just don't know what else they're going to be doing. I really hope for something with Runaways. I think Daredevil would be really cool. I want to see some stuff out of left field. I don't want them to now start doing like Captain America and Iron Man games. Like I do think there should be some thematic through line with the MCU in terms of just the characters that they're working on. They don't have to make them the same characters, but just to give that bit of...
Well, they haven't, though. Have they made them the same characters?
Like, no, not at all.
The Guardians was... I still think the Guardians cast in the video game was better than the Guardians cast in the movie. So.
Agreed. Yeah, so I just want them... I just want to see a bit of synergy. I don't want them the same characters, but like in terms of like this is the MCU version of these characters. But I do like that the Guardians game came out at a time after the Guardians blew up because of the MCU. I would like to see maybe a Doctor Strange game, because that would be like a weird magical based thing. Like I want to see them get a little weird with the games, because that's where we're at with the MCU right now. We're getting wildly different, you know, takes on the properties. I want to see that in the games as well.
But I do think we're going to get less of MCU and more of Star Wars.
I don't know.
I think we're going to get... We don't have that many Star Wars games out right now. I think we're going to get more Star Wars games because we have a lot of MCU games that have come out in the last little bit, and we know we have Spider-Man and Wolverine coming. I think we're going to get some more Star Wars. I also think we're going to get... Like, we do know that the Disneyland... the Disney World Adventures game or whatever that's coming, that my daughter...
That's right.
I showed her the trailer.
Yep.
I can't wait to play it. It's coming to Game Pass day and date.
It's free to play.
Definitely wanting to play that game. I think we might get some surprising. As a parent, I'm hoping they drop a Bluey game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want a Bluey game. I want to play that with my kid while she still loves the show. But I think we're gonna possibly get some sort of announcements in that vein. They have many different properties on the Disney Plus channel with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna get a kids game.
I think that makes sense too. I mean, why not? Like across Disney and Marvel, you have enough properties that you can start making quality games for kids as well. So I'm really excited. We're definitely going to see what we can do about a live stream, and I'm just going to be screaming the entire time. So be prepared for that. Let's let some of our friends in the car because we have some questions to get through. Let's bring up Nagachaka first because he throws back to Team Asobi. Said their next game will be their biggest one yet. What would you like to see from this talented developer? We've addressed that, but do you think that this could be a PSVR 2 launch title? Because that's something that we didn't bring up. So Nagachaka is asking, do you think it's going to be PSVR 2? Do you want it to be?
Well, I would hope that they give me an experience, but I don't want it to be. But I've still never played the PSVR 1 version of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm going to get the game that I suggested, that's not a VR game.
I want it to be both. I want it given me like Resident Evil 7 style of like you can play this game entirely VR, especially because the original Astro Bot could very easily be a 2D or a 3D game. That the VR just not 2D or 3D, but 3D or VR. Because I do think the VR really enhanced the experience. So I hope they do it that you could use both of them because I think that'd be really, really cool. Our next question, Mike the Backlog Knight at Blaze Knight 0923 over on Twitter said, I asked the Xbox Drive, now I'll ask you. If you got a Sony first-party studio to make a Carpool gaming game, which studio would you want to make it, and what type of game would it be, Court?
Well, Sean's answer of the Ryan being the murderer, well done. Well done. Well done. And for me, I think I would want to make like get Insomniac to make a superhero type game, open world with us as characters and make us like superhero and all have superpowers.
Yep.
So I try and do the lighter side instead of the murder side that the previous on the Xbox Drive. So yeah, that I think I would love an Insomniac game. Make it wacky and give us all superpowers. And we all have, you have Ryan's got, some Professor X in him type superpowers.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And then Sean, obviously speed because he's on too many shows and he's going and going. So he's like the Flash type character.
I'm with you.
And then yourself and I, more of the brawn, tough guys that can fly and better than all of them.
Yeah, obviously.
And then you have Kato that I think has to be the supervillain.
Kato with her army of potatoes.
Yeah, her and Garrett are the supervillains.
Her and Garrett would be a deadly combo, dude.
Yeah. They're smarter than all of us, so
combined,
let them be the supervillains. Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. I would really want a Naughty Dog game, but more Uncharted than Last of Us. Obviously, I want us to go on like a world hopping adventure where we get more, swapping different characters in and out depending on the level and depending on what's needed. We need to like break into the safe. It's Ryan time where he's hacking into the systems.
Ooh.
Oh, we need a sneaky segment. I'll put myself on and like me and Garrett can like be the sneaky ones to get in. We need somebody to go and charm the person there. We're sending in Kato and Court. Sean is just like the cheerleader in the background, just shouting all of us out and celebrating all of our wins. But I think like the really cool dynamics between the characters in Uncharted, I think would fit Carpool in a really fun way. And to make it light and breezy, make it fun and dumb, make it a big action movie, and I think that would be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Our next question coming from Todd Oxtra at Toxtra. Do you think we will see a first-person shooter return to PlayStation?
I think they have no choice, even though they did buy Destiny. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to try and figure something out, but I think it's going to be one of those, you know how there's like a bunch of free-to-play games being made? I think that's where it is.
Well, I mean, I think you're right. I do think that we will see an FPS free-to-play for sure. I'm blanking on the name of the studio, but there's that new studio that they recently brought in that we know is working on a shooter. We just don't know if it's a first-person shooter or not. I think they have to. Whether it's going to be something like a new IP entirely or a revival of something like Killzone or Resistance, that I'm not sure about. I can really see them going in either direction. But I do think it's inevitable. I think they need it. I think they 100% need it right away.
Yeah, Xbox is chock full of them.
Yep.
Like if you went into Game Pass and they're about like I think it's a foregone conclusion now that Call of Duty that's happening. Phone wallpapers and it was Call of Duty. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like this is just a hello, this is happening.
Yeah.
Hey, the Xbox channel is like Xbox Twitter account's like, hey, use these wallpapers, Diablo and Call of Duty. I'm like, okay.
They know what they're doing. Yeah, I think it's imminent. I think it's going to be definitely. I think you're spot on with those 10 games. I think we're going to see a couple shooters out of that. Whether they'll all be first person or third person or not, we'll see. But I do think that's definitely in the cards there. We have 2 more questions. Let's go with this one next. Rygo at dreaded_Diablo over on Twitter said, should multiplayer trophies be allowed to get an offline mode when the servers go down? An example is Killzone 2 or the Bioshock 2 multiplayer. Court, what do you think?
Sorry, I got distracted by the chat, and I know some people because the Captain Logan made a good point. The new studio that was made up of former Call of Duty devs.
There you go.
That would be their first-person shooter studio. There you go.
And that's exactly what I was referring to. I just cannot remember that studio's name for the life of me.
I couldn't either, but yes, it's there.
But
that's definitely a first-person shooter. Go to the question. Sorry, my apologies.
No, all good. So in terms of Rago's question, should multiplayer trophies be allowed to get an offline mode when the servers go down? I think they should. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
100%. I'm about to learn how long I can play a game digital only offline. That is one of my gripes about this. As much as I am a digital purchaser, that is one of my gripes about this all digital future. I especially learned it on my Xbox when the whole Xbox thing went down. When the Rogers cable went down for a while here, it was like I had 4 days without the internet. My Xbox didn't work. It was like it worked for 2 days, and then it was like, nope, we can't check in. Nope. I heard, and someone can correct me, someone can tell me, I've heard PlayStation's 5 days. It can be offline for 5 days. It does without DRMing. Because guess what? PlayStation and Xbox both do it. They both go check to see if you own this game. So from what I understand, as long as it's your home console, and that's what I was explaining to you before, I'm going to make the digital version my home console, and I'm going to use that when I'm away to play The Last of Us.
And that's fair. I do think it's a fair point. I just, especially with the way that Sony and PlayStation seems to handle their old stuff, the way that they've been handling the premium tier in terms of the legacy games, I don't think they care enough to try and because they would have to, I imagine, seriously rebuild some of those trophies. They'd have to find a way that they would let you access those game modes offline. It's just
hot take here. Multiplayer trophies suck.
Yeah, with you 100%. So
garbage.
Should it happen? Yes. Will it ever? I doubt it.
I honestly think unless the game is multiplayer only, there shouldn't be allowed, regardless whether there's a multiplayer component of the game. I think to achieve a platinum, they shouldn't have any sort of multiplayer. Like I know a perfect example would be, I think it was one of the Lego Star Wars. You had to play multiplayer, so you can't get a platinum in that game now because that was the very last trophy that no one could get because you could go on the servers, there's no one there.
Right. Yeah. See, that's what I don't like. That you shouldn't be limited in that respect. But cool idea. Don't think it's ever going to happen. Sorry, Rago. And because our last question is from Rybo at Rybo Flavins over on Twitter. Rygo, I'm getting all tongue twisted. He asks, and Court, this is a question much more for you than it is ever going to be for me. Will our beloved Blue Jays ever win a game again?
So I was at the game last night and they won. So yes, the answer is yes.
There you go. That's all they needed. They needed Court in the audience. They felt that gusto. They felt that energy, and they brought the ball home for the boys. I don't know what I'm talking about. But that, my friend, brings us to the end of the show. But Court, if people want to see and hear more from you, where could they do so?
You can find me at Court Lalonde on Twitter. You can also find me Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. EDT on Three Dads and a Console. You can find me weekly on Xbox A, and you can find me on all Carpool Gaming socials on everything: Instagram, Twitter, even TikTok.
There you go. Make sure you go support Court and Carpool in every stretch of the imagination. As for myself, you can find me over on Twitter at burnout_Matt. You can find us every week over at youtube.com/burnoutbrighter, talking all things video games, mental health, and social justice. And catch us on level1gaming.com with bonus level every other week, where we just get into some ridiculous conversations about dumb stuff. But that, once again, brings us to the end of the show. I appreciate you all very, very much. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next ride. Peace.
The PlayStation Drive is fueled by the Patreons who truly make us believe that anything is possible. And we'd like to thank the more than 90 patrons who support us each and every month at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. With a special thanks to our ultimate producers, Mostly Martinez, Dano, Emily O'Kelly, Dallas Ford, Trucker Soft, Jonathan Brown, who has a new album, In My Element, on Spotify and Apple Music, Drew Agnew, who is the host of the House of Mario podcast, Lee Navarro, who is the leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. The links are in the show notes. Please support these ultimate producers. Platinum producers, Brendan Myers, Becky Rubin Navarro, Skinny Matt, Robbie Bobby Miller. And then our gold members, Tom 4 NKS, Slicely Carosa, Anna W, The Snack Network, Foolish Fuji, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, Tony Baker, Mac Time, RJ Kern, Jose Jimenez, Ashley Nichols, Argo, Marcus O'Neill, and Dallas Robbins. To support the PlayStation Drive and get some awesome perks, go to patreon.com/carpoolgaming and select the tier that works best for you.